So hello everyone, welcome back once again. So actually the internet has erupted once again because over what many critics are calling another painful overhyped royal media moment involving Kate Middleton. So what started as a seemingly harmless lifestyle headline quickly spiraled into widespread mockery online after multiple UK outlets praised the Prince of Wales for walking across grass in Selton as if it were somehow extraordinary achievement. So within hours, social media users began tearing apart the coverage, actually questioning why ordinary action actually by senior royal continue to be framed as groundbreaking news, while larger issues facing the monarchy and public are ignored. The backlash became especially intense because many people felt the article perfectly represented what they see as growing disconnect between royal reporting and reality. So as usual across X, TikTok, YouTube and Instagram, users reported screenshots of the headline alongside sarcastic comments asking whether walking in heels and now becoming a royal accomplishment worth of national celebration. So memes spread rapidly with people joking that the British media was running out of idea actually and desperately trying to manufacture praise for Kate out of absolutely nothing. Zero, nothing. And the critics argue that this was not just about shoes or fashion, because to many observers, the outrage reflected years of frustration over what they believe is a carefully protected image surrounding Kate Middleton. So online commentator accused parts of the UK press of treating her with excessive admiration actually, while downplaying criticism or avoiding difficult conversation entirely. So for those critics, the Stilettos-On-Grass story became symbolic of much larger issue involving media favorism and image management within the monarchy. So many users pointed out that millions of women walk on grass in a hill every single day at weddings, parties, garden events and outdoor functions without receiving international headlines. So actually that comparison fueled ridicule even further, especially among younger audience who already view traditional royal reporting as outdated and disconnected from modern culture. So several viral posts mocked the idea that simply balancing insults deserve front page attention during time when many people are struggling financially and questioning the relevance of the monarchy itself. So the reaction also exposed how divided public opinion has become when it comes to Kate Middleton's public image. Supporters argue that the royal faction story have also ignited and the critics were overreacting, to harmless celebrity style reporting. They insisted the backlash said more about online negativity than it did about Kate herself. But if you look, critics push back hard against that argument, saying the issue was not fashion coverage alone but exaggerated tone used by royal commentators who constantly frame routine appearance as iconic or inspirational moments. So for many viewers online, this latest incident only reinforced the growing perception that Kate's public image relies heavily on carefully managed media narrative rather than authentic public engagement. So some critics argue that royal coverage surrounding her often feels overly staged, overly polished, and disconnected from everyday's reality. So they claim the media repeated attempt to portray even the smallest gesture as remarkable achievement have started producing the opposite effect, turning public admiration into exhaustion and mockery. So the phrase Stilettos-On-Grass itself became a trending joke, almost immediately. Users sarcastically refer it to as historic royal skill, while other joked that the Buckingham Palace should have hand out medal for alone walking expertise. So the humor spread quickly because many people felt the headline unintentionally highlighted how desperate some royal coverage has become for positive narrative, surrounding the Waleses. And this is not the first time, actually, if you look at it. Kate Middleton press coverage has sparked criticism online. Over the past few years, conversation around and about royal media bias have intensified dramatically, especially in comparison to how other members of the royal family are covered. Critics frequently argue that Kate received softer treatment from the British tabloids, while others face harsher scrutiny for far less. Whether fair or not, the perception has become deeply embedded in online royal discussion. particularly among younger international audience who consume real news through social media rather than traditional newspaper. So the timing of the backlash also mattered because public frustration surrounding the monarchy has been steadily growing amid ongoing economic pressure, political instability, debate about privilege and relevance. In that environment, growing headlines about this kind of footwear and grass came across to many people as tone deaf and detached from real world concern. So critics argue that instead of appearing relatable, the coverage made the institution seem increasingly insulated inside a media bubble that no longer reflects public priorities. And at the same time, defenders of the monarchy accuse critics of unfairly targeting Kate over travel issues. So they argue that royal fashion and lifestyle story have always been part of the media culture, and that outrage over single headline was disappropriate. However, even some neutral observer admitted the coverage felt excessive and intentionally invited ridicule. So for many people, the problem was less about Kate persona and more about how section of the media continuously elevate the real moment into exaggerated cultural event. So the broader debate quickly expanded beyond one headline into larger conversation about credibility in royal journalism. So critics argue that constant overpraise damaging public trust because audience can clearly recognize when public events are being inflated for attention. So several commentators suggested that these kinds of stories actually hurt Kate's image more than help it because they make her appear overly protected and artificially promoted. And by the end of the day, what's likely intended as a simple lifestyle feature has transformed into another viral royal controversy. So the headline became less about Kate Middleton herself and more about the growing frustration many people feel towards the media ecosystem surrounding the monarchy. Whether supporters like it or not, actually the internet reaction reveal a clear shift in public attitude. Audiences are becoming increasingly resistant to overly manufactured royal narrative, especially when they involve praise for action most people consider completely ordinary. And for critics, the backlash serves as a proof that public patience with exaggerated royal coverage is wearing thin. For supporters, it was another example of online culture, turning harmless content into outrage. But regardless of which side people took, then one thing became impossible to ignore. Headline about walking on the grass in Middleton managed to trigger massive international conversation about privilege, media bias, monarchy fatigue, and changing nature of public perception in a digital age. And perhaps that says more about the current state of the royal coverage than the story itself ever could. Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel Popcrest Media for more updates every day on way of supporting Harry and Meghan. Thank you and we love you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment.